Hey everybody, Sean and I are two here, and welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. When we last left off, well, we were given access to investigate this crime scene for our dear departed friend. And during our investigation, this weird Sherlock Holmes wannabe, steampunk Sherlock Holmes, just kind of appeared out of thin air on this desk. So let's figure out what he's doing here and what he's all about. Who's that? He wasn't there a minute ago. As far as I can tell, it looks like he might be European. Oh, how did he... You've noticed the man too, have you? I have no idea who he is or how he got in here, but he looks suspicious and tall. Suspiciously tall! Naruhodo-san, don't tell me. Do you really not know who that is? Well, no. I don't have any foreign friends or acquaintances at all. He doesn't look like a member of the crew. There's something very unusual about him. And is he investigating Kazuma's desk, or is he just playing on it? I can't tell. Well, in that case, we simply must talk with him. Am I just imagining it, or does Susato-san look almost uncontrollably excited? Oh, she's fangirling. By the way, I expected you noticed already, but just in case, if you press space on people when they're in the crosshairs, you can converse with them. All right then, I'll get that suspiciously tall gentleman in my sights and we'll see what he has to say for himself. Not yet, we're gonna look at the rest of the stuff first. Oh, please do. Yeah, I'm not doing that yet. Let's continue examining. I don't like being shoehorned into what to do. We still want to see what this is. It looks like a pull chain of some sort. This is, yes, it's a bell cord contraption, I think. And what do you mean contraption? I read about it in a book I was studying that talked about life in Great Britain. Large households often have bell cords like this, which you can pull to ring a bell to summon servants. Really? That sounds almost magical. Okay, we're just silently staring off into the distance. Shall we give it a little try? Yes! In the interest of cultural research, obviously. How about not in the interest of cultural research, but the interest of finding out who killed our friend? Let's do it for that reason. Ding ding. Somebody should come in here, right? I suppose nobody comes for lowly Japanese people. No, I'm sure it's just that everyone is busy, that's all. Okay. All right, the bed, there's nothing to look at on the bed. We've already looked at the vent. We've already looked at the bell cord. Let's look at the wardrobe. It's some 2 weeks since we set sail from Japan. Have you really been living in that wardrobe the entire time, Naruhodo-san? Where has he been pooping? These are the real questions that we need answered. I think living isn't quite the right description. Oh, no? I suppose not. Although it must have been rather exciting making this voyage on your own secret hideout. Here's the other thing. Let's take a break here and let's talk about this stowaway plan of theirs. How Kazuma would have known, how would he have known, if I can say this correctly, that there would be a wardrobe that we could fit in our room? What if he had to share a room with someone else, which seems far more likely in this case? Where would he have hidden us at that point? This doesn't seem very well thought out for two ace attorneys. Well, one is dead, so the last ace attorney, I guess, would be us. All right, continuing on. The trouble was, I never knew when a member of the crew might come in. So yes, I did basically have to live in the wardrobe. What do you mean, just lock the door? From the inside? Well, I guess if he was gone, if Kazuma was gone, you had to stay in here. And last night was no exception. But because of that, you had no idea what was happening out here in the cabin. No, sadly not. And how do you plan on getting back from Britain. All right. Have we looked at everything before we talk to this joker here? I think so. All right, let's talk to this weirdo. Sholmes is his name? Herlock Sholmes? Excuse me. Excuse me, do you have a moment? Shh, this is a critical point in my investigation. Maybe I should leave him alone. He seems a little unfriendly. Yes, perhaps that would be for the best. Whoa! Alright, he said greetings. I didn't click anything. It automatically went to Susato here. Where did you get all your steampunk craziness from? What exactly were you doing on Kazuma's desk just now? Ellipses. How do these camera devices light up and work? There's no technology like this back then. Ah, I see. Fascinating. Sorry? What do you see? Feels like he's looking right through me. Oh yes, everything is clear now. The train of reasoning has run its course. My deductions have crystallized. You have been in Afghanistan. Wait, what? Afghanistan? Really? We're gonna talk about Afghanistan right now? Okay, whatever. You have been in Afghanistan, I perceive, just recently returned, if I'm not mistaken. You were really mistaken. Sorry? What? And now, whilst venturing towards foreign climes, you find yourself in a most troubling predicament. Oh? Well, that's true at least. But how? How the deuce did I know that? Perhaps? It was really a most elementary deduction. Hardly worth explaining. Have you perhaps managed to deduce anything else? But of course, a great many things. There's no mystery, my dear madam. For example, you have fled your native land of Russia, being as you are a merciless revolutionary. So this is great value Sherlock Holmes, who is horrible at being Sherlock Holmes. Got it. You leave 16 victims of assassination in your wake and now traveled to England to blow up the Crystal Tower. And when the beribboned occupant of this very cabin discovered your identity, you ended his life too. This guy's absolutely insane. Yes, I believe that summarizes the facts beautifully. No need to hide the truth now. Nothing deceives these eyes. Just to be clear, you're talking about me, aren't you? Certainly I am. Do you see another in this cabin who fits the bill? A Russian assassin with 16 victims to his name? I don't even see one person who fits the bill. So it's true. It was... Everyone here is idiots. Everyone in this entire game is just a bunch of buffoons. And has to be proven the most basic of facts. I got it. I see what's going on here. What? And you're plotting a revolution too. So she believes him. It's shameful behavior, Naruhodo-san. Absolutely wicked. You think that I'm Russian. No, listen, there's no way. Oh, she's gonna hit us again. Now explain yourself. Tell me everything. This is ridiculous. It is. It's absolutely ridiculous. How could you do it? For pity's sake, open your eyes. I'm not a Russian revolutionary, obviously. Oh, forgive me. And as for you, what kind of deduction was that? You were just saying the first thing that came into your head. Ah, but was I not right? Whilst venturing towards foreign climes, you do find yourself in a most troubling predicament, do you not? Well, yes, maybe. Ah, there you have it. You see? What do you make of that, huh? Well, to be honest, the ship is en route to England, and I'm in handcuffs at the scene of a murder. So I'm not really sure you could call it a deduction. It's more of a plain observation. Indeed, an observation, my dear boy, is the basis of all deduction. My method is founded upon the observation of trifles, you see. I announce my findings with a brassy certitude. And more often than not, I'm right. Ha! I don't think you introduced yourself. Ah, my apologies. How remiss of me. I am none other than the greatest detective of the century, known to men and women the world over. The inimitable Sherlock Holmes. It's going to be very hard for me to say this name, so I'm just going to call him Sherlock Holmes. So it's really you, the actual Sherlock Holmes. The very same. The inimitable, actual Sherlock Holmes. Do you know this man, Susato-san? The most famous detective in the world, Naruhodo-san? Of course I do. There's nobody who hasn't heard of him. What planet have I been living on then? Also, how many people has he wrongly accused and sentenced to crimes that they didn't commit? We must ask him what he's deduced. He will have worked out the entire case already, I'm sure. Really? Why do I feel uneasy about this? Let's converse. All right, great detective, tell me about yourself. So, you're a great detective, are you? Sorry, what was your name again? Indeed, I'm none other than the one and only Sherlock Holmes. Oh, I see. You're German? Sherlock? Sherlock Holmes, okay. No, I have no hair. I mean, I have hair. Please call me Holmes. What's this? You can read all about my exploits in this exciting London publication. Oh yes, Rant's magazine, full of wonderful short stories and interest articles from Great Britain. I never miss an issue. I have it sent from England especially. Ah yes, here it is. The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. So you're the protagonist in a series of short stories then? Indeed I am. And you've read so many of your own stories, you've started to think you actually are a detective. This sounds more like the facts. Make no mistake, I'm not the poor deluded fellow you take me for. Your inference is backwards. Backwards? My trusty biographer records my greatest detecting achievements and chronicles them in the magazine. You have a biographer, do you? Doesn't everyone? Mine goes by the name of Dr. Wilson, presently keeping shop in London. That's our Watson. Dr. Wilson. I must say, thanks to that publication, I've been fantastically busy as of late. So you have a whole ass doctor just to be your biographer. Okay, that seems legit. Why, this very moment, I'm returning from Asia, having solved the mystery of a cursed royal crown. Really, I can't work out whether I should take this man seriously or not. Deduction, you see, is to me a science. Logical reasoning in its purest form. A science? Really? The astute observer notices even the most subtle of reactions in his subject. A furtive glance, a twitch of a muscle, a slight inclination of the posture. Fingernails, arm sleeves, furrows in the skin. All these things are data. Right. And the trained logician makes deductions from this data in the blink of an eye. The ultimate conclusion is, without fail, the truth. As I demonstrated only a few short moments ago. How can he look me in the eye and claim that? So you see, I have a term both for observation and for deduction, and fame. That is what makes me the one and only Sherlock Holmes. Yeah, you're an idiot. Kazuma's death. Have you managed to deduce anything about this particular case yet? Have I managed to deduce anything? My dear fellow. Who do you suppose discovered the culprit in his most cunning hiding place? That's right. It was none other than the great detective before you now, Mr. Sherlock Holmes. I see. In other words, I'm in these now because of him. When I became anxious about Kazuma-sama this morning, I summoned all of the crew members to force the cabin door open. And I concealed myself among their number, gaining entry to the scene of the crime. Yes, luckily for everyone, the great detective, Sherlock Holmes, was on board. Did you do it? I'm starting to suspect you. And the handcuffs seem to be an excellent fit, Mr. Naruhodo. Arg. There's a lot of args being said in this game. The very moment I laid eyes on the scene, 2 facts were immediately apparent to me. Oh really? 2 facts, you say? Yeah. Tell me about these 2 facts. Mr. Sholmes, tell us please. What 2 facts were apparent to you when you came into this cabin this morning? Ah yes, but first, let us be precise. The 2 facts in question were immediately apparent to me. Yes, I understand. But what were they? Allow me to elucidate. The 2 facts that I deduced from a mere momentary glance at the scene of the crime were as follows. Number 1, the cabin was locked from within, rendering escape of the culprit out of the question. No, rendering egress through that door out of the question, but not this vent over here on this other side. Number 2, the victim was Russian and killed following a dispute with an acquaintance. That's not true at all. Hold on, Mr. Sholmes. What made you think the victim was Russian? Because he wrote Russian down here. Observe the dying message left by the victim on the floor. That's the Russian word for wardrobe. Okay, so he wrote wardrobe. Do you really think Kazuma-sama could have left a dying message in Russian? In their final moments, many find their native tongue filling their head. For this young man, Russian. Kazuma was Russian, was he? Initially, I considered Garderob maybe the name of the killer. A certain Robert Gard, perhaps. But in the interest of thoroughness, I decided it would be wrong not to look inside the wardrobe there at least. Where you found Mr. Naruhodo sleeping soundly. Quite so, I found you, the renowned Russian revolutionary killer. Why is it that I'm Russian too? I observed that you were wearing the same attire as the victim. In other words, you were acquainted. And if my memory serves, that outfit is the traditional dress of the Russian people. Your memory is, shit. Our school uniforms are the traditional dress of the Russian people? I had no idea. You are an idiot. I hate to say that, but I mean, you're acting very dumb right now. And I had no idea a detective could get something so wrong. I took a photograph of the victim and the message that I might analyze it for possible hidden details. Let me see the photograph. Give it here. This. Is he even dead? What if he's not dead? What if he's just like, you know, in a coma or something? This was taken immediately after a young man was discovered, before the body was removed. Yes, Kazuma had already been taken away when I woke up. This is the first time I've actually seen him like this. Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, yes, thank you. He's seeing his friend's, what he perceives, dead body through a photograph, I'm sure he's not okay. The photograph of the crime scene has been entered into the court record. So this is a court, even though it's not a court. The Russian word for wardrobe in purple ink that would appear had been written with the victim's final moments. Can I ask you something, Mr. Sholmes? No, hold on, I want to look at the court record. Yeah, let's examine this. Magnifying glass. Trying to figure out if he actually wrote this or if it's made to look like he wrote this. Okay, let's go back. And back. Can I ask you something, Mr. Sholmes? What, pray? You mentioned Russian before as well, didn't you? Mentioned Russia, not Russian, before as well, didn't you? You know, when you said I was a fearsome revolutionary fleeing from Russia and all of that? Ah, yes, the train of reasoning that led me to the truth. Would you mind explaining that train of reasoning to me, do you think? Whatever that word is, certainly, if it interests you. How many times? I'm not Russian, and I don't speak Russian. All right, your deduction just now. Tell me about that. Can we talk about your deduction before? The things that you concluded about me, I mean? Ah, the now famously accurate trouble and predicament you find yourself in. Actually, it was the other details that I was more hoping to discuss. You know, the whole merciless Russian revolutionary and assassin of 16 people part. Oh yes, the more sordid details. It was a fairly commonplace deduction. Here we have this morning's paper. The main headline reads, "This is the guy that you think I am? Revolutionary villain Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai." This vessel made a port call at Shanghai yesterday, and last night the young Russian was murdered. Since when was Kazuma a Russian? Sounds like Mr. Sholmes has concluded he was Russian because of what Kazuma-sama wrote on the floor. It was a simple act of reason to realize that the culprit of this crime was the same merciless revolutionary. That is not a simple act of reason, that is a huge jump of logic. One who would kill the very man who helped him to escape after his true identity was discovered. Yes, you. Villain Bolshevik. Yeah. No. How could it be me? I don't look anything like this man. Just look at his face. Well, you are a fearsome revolutionary after all. Therefore, you have no doubt learned to revolutionize your appearance as well. You are an insane madman, living in a fantasy world and probably on all of the drugs right now. Ugh, please. And I might add, your name does not appear on the ship's passenger list. Need I say more? Well, that's because I'm a stowaway. What about the other details? The 16 victims of assassination and blowing up the Crystal Tower? Ah yes, the journalist clearly interviewed the man and printed all those particulars in the article. The journalist interviewed this guy. Okay. The deeds the man has perpetrated thus far and those he is plotting. Yes, everything about this revolutionary Bolshevik was included. There can be no mistake. Bolshevik. Do revolutionaries usually agree to interviews with newspaper reporters, I wonder? No, they did not. And what about the part where you said I was just returning from Afghanistan? Also quite clearly stated here in the article. Bolshevik is recently returned after a period of subversive actions in a war-torn region of Afghanistan. Where even is it anyway? This Afghanistan place. Here, take the paper for yourself as a little memento of this great deduction. Oh, thank you. Paper's been entered into court record. I've absorbed all that is of interest to me within its pages, but I see no rubbish bin nearby. The article about the revolutionary has been entered into the court record. Well, let's read that. And you may find the article on the back page of interest as well. Court record time. Newspaper. An article on the front page of a Russian newspaper. The headline reads, Revolutionary villain Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. All right, let's look at it. Face. I'm afraid I can't read a word of Russian. No, me neither. I have no idea what any of this says. How much you want to bet that this doesn't say what Sherlock Holmes analog over there thinks it says? The pair of you floundering is a sorry sight. Allow me to offer some assistance. The article on the front page of this newspaper is concerned with a fearsome Russian revolutionary. It reads, Revolutionary villain Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. Yes, you told us that before. It reveals also that those who see the man's beard with their own eyes never live to tell the tale. Yeah, his beard. Oh my goodness, he is fearsome. Well, presumably the newspaper photographer was all right, wasn't he? The solution is obvious, of course. If he despises his beard to that degree, he need only shave it off. You're an insane man. I'm not quite sure that's the problem, Mr. Sholmes. Mr. Sholmes is an idiot. And criminally, dangerously insane. Alright, let's... Ooh, who is this? Is this the lady? Is this the lady with the swan on her head? Probably not. This is interesting. Have you found something relevant, Naruhodo-san? Well, no. I mean, it looks like it might be interesting. I can't read a single word, I'm afraid. No, nor can I. But look at this picture. Perhaps it's about a beautiful young Russian princess, do you think? Is this Anastasia? She is very pretty, isn't she? I suppose you enjoy articles like this, do you? I don't know. I can't make any sense of it. Ah, I'm glad you've noticed this article. Ag! Allow me to give you a short summary of its contents. Oh, thank you. He pops up everywhere, this Mr. Sholmes. It's about the disappearance of a young lady last night. Renowned prima ballerina of the Novovich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. During a performance in Shanghai, the famous dancer was reported missing. She is, of course, the talented young Nikolina Pavlova. Why are Russian names so hard to remember? It's way easier to remember for me than some of the other names I've read. It would appear that the woman was in costume when she was found to be missing from her dressing room. Wearing the diamond tiara you see pictured, which is worth some 20,000 rubles. Oh, how much is 20,000 rubles? I have no idea, but I'm quite sure it must be an unbelievable sum of money. Susato-san's eyes are shining like diamonds themselves. The tiara is the property of the Novovich Ballet. It would seem the director is beside herself with worry. Yes, I'm not surprised. The company is most anxious to recover both Miss Pavlova and the valuable tiara. I bet they're more concerned about the tiara, if you ask me. They requested an international assistant at all ports with sailings to Great Britain. Okay, so this is relevant. She's probably on this boat. Could this be another case of a Russian fleeing his or her country? It does seem to be the Russian thing to do. I'm not even going to dignify that with a response, Mr. Naruhodo. Yeah, don't be racist. The article about the ballerina has been entered into the court record. An article on the back page of the Russian newspaper. The headline reads, Renowned prima ballerina of the Novovich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. Is there anything else to look at here? Looked at the ballerina. All right, I think we're done here. Let's look at people. A certified lawyer and my best friend. He was on his way to London for a study tour when he was taken from this world. Susato Mikotoba, 16. A judicial assistant who was traveling with Kazuma to London for a study tour. She is the epitome of a refined Japanese lady. She's a little young to be traveling. Traveling on her own, I mean, not to be traveling in general. Herlock Sholmes, 34. How do you make it to 34 being this dumb? There's not a person in the world who hasn't heard of this famous great detective. Not a person except me, apparently. Wow. I'm going to have to head back. And we will continue this investigation next episode. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy my content, please consider a like, a comment, and or a subscribe. It helps me grow my channel tremendously, and I appreciate it if you do. Stay tuned for the next episode. We will see you then. Bye-bye.